They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlyn Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now, the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlyn Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA was finally turning the corner, ready to ride the Caitlyn Clark rocket ship to mainstream relevance and big money, they managed to stumble over their own shoelaces. And by that, we mean Caitlyn Clark herself, the league's one-woman ratings machine, has now landed on the injury list.
The Indiana Fever announced that star Caitlyn Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Clark reported some pain in her leg Saturday after the team's loss to the New York Liberty. She subsequently underwent an MRI and was diagnosed with the strain on Monday.
Now basketball fans are in full meltdown mode. Talk shows are spiraling. And Stephen A. Smith? He's practically levitating from sheer outrage, aimed squarely at the WNBA bullies, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, and especially Angel Reese, who somehow still thinks people are tuning in for her too. If you're riding with Stephen A., comment baby goat over baby giraffe down below. Let's go.
Clark was the WNBA's Rookie of the Year last season and a first-team All-WNBA selection. So far, she's averaging 19 points and a league-leading 9.3 assists through 4 games this season. I could give a damn about that last part. I don't care about her leading the league in assists. I don't care about the points that she's averaging because I already know that the young lady can ball. She is special. What I'm interested in is what somebody tweeted me and asked about earlier today that I want to show you right now. Put this tweet up, please, so our audience can see it here. At 4th Gen Bucci, B-U-C-C-I, right? Stephen A. Smith, can the WNBA keep itself afloat while CC, as in Caitlyn Clark, is out?
Caitlyn Clark, the very woman who transformed women's basketball from something only your overly competitive cousin cared about into must-see TV, is now benched with a quad strain. 2 weeks minimum. 2 long, Clarkless weeks where the WNBA will try its best to pretend everything's fine, even as the actual product crumbles faster than an Angel Reese layup. Just picture it, the league's brightest star stuck in street clothes, while the TV ratings sink like a rock in a kiddie pool.
Unfortunately, though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson: be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post: Caitlyn Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword: shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
And the first person to blow a gasket over it? Naturally, it's Stephen A. Smith. ESPN's resident hype machine didn't just weigh in. He went full DEFCON 1. While others around the league gave us their best polite shrug, Stephen A. came in like a human Molotov, torching every bad take and bad decision that got us to this point. And let's be real, someone had to say it. Everyone else is out here whispering sweet nothings and pretending Caitlyn Clark isn't the reason their direct deposit hit on time.
Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA-specific merchandise. It started with Caitlyn Clark. And so now that we know all of this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I have an idea.
This man didn't just speak up. He held court like someone who'd been waiting months to dunk on the league's ineptitude. While WNBA executives were out to lunch, pretending Caitlyn Clark isn't the one keeping the lights on, Stephen A. was busy slapping down receipts. He broke it down so clearly, it felt like watching math class with fireworks. "Oh, you think the league can survive without Caitlyn Clark?" he basically asked. "Cool story, bro. Check the numbers and try not to cry."
Thanks to Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlyn Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier.
Let's break those numbers down, shall we? Caitlyn Clark's games this year are averaging 1.178 million viewers. Without her, just 394,000. That's not a drop. That's a plunge off a cliff, a 3-times crater in viewership. And yet, you've still got players like Angel Reese wondering why Clark gets more camera time. Maybe it's because Caitlyn doesn't treat the basketball like a bowling pin and actually gives people a reason to tune in.
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings, because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is validated.
Stephen A. didn't just wake up mad. This was months in the making, watching the WNBA fumble every golden opportunity handed to them. He's seen Cheryl Swoops throwing more shade than a beach umbrella, acting like Clark isn't the one dragging the entire league into the spotlight. And of course, Reese couldn't resist turning every moment into her own personal audition for America's next jealous teammate.
You asked me about Caitlyn. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlyn should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
Then there's Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, whose entire Clark-related strategy could basically be summed up as, thanks for the ratings, I guess. It's like finding a genie in a bottle and wishing for a slightly bigger bottle. Now, with Clark sidelined, Stephen A. is practically yelling, "I told you so," from the rooftops. And honestly, he's earned it.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlyn a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
He even dropped some classic wisdom, saying, if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA and her absence proves it, then everyone needs to stand down and ride the wave. Translation: stop fighting it. Caitlyn is the show. Either get on board or get left behind. Sitting in half-empty arenas with confused fans wondering where all the buzz went.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlyn Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is Caitlyn Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever?
Let's rewind, because the build-up to this train wreck has been a masterclass in league mismanagement. Caitlyn Clark's first game this year, against the Sky, pulled a record-setting 2.7 million viewers, the highest-rated WNBA game on ESPN ever. A debut so massive, even the NBA raised an eyebrow. That wasn't a fluke. That was the arrival of a generational star. She came bearing receipts, ratings, viewers, and more jersey sales than half the league combined. So what did the WNBA do? Shower her with love? Launch a full-scale marketing blitz? Nope. We got press releases so generic, they might as well have been generated by Angel Reese herself. It was like the league was afraid to admit that one player was doing more for the brand than a decade of group effort.
Rising tide lifts all boats. And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
Stephen A. was watching it all, the build-up, Caitlyn's star soaring, the league quietly downplaying her, the vets side-eyeing her like she just took the last slice of pizza. And now the WNBA is in full panic mode, scrambling to fill the void left by the only player who can pull an extra million eyeballs just by tying her shoes. And that's the point. Caitlyn Clark wasn't just another top draft pick. She was the WNBA's lottery ticket. Instead of celebrating it, they tried to downplay it. Now the ticket's temporarily out of circulation, and they're finally realizing what she's really worth. Meanwhile, Stephen A is sitting back like, I've been telling y'all, you can't build a castle and then act surprised when the queen moves in.
We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlyn Clark got here. And y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now the young white girl comes along and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlyn Clark. It's about what she represents. My point is, grow up.
Bottom line, the WNBA had the golden goose, and they treated her like just another regular bird. Stephen A isn't just angry. He's delivering the reality check the league desperately needs. Clark is the draw, the face, the reason sponsors are calling. If she's not protected, appreciated, and elevated, this league won't just lose a player, it'll lose its moment. Stephen A. Smith has been the lone voice of reason in a room full of noise when it comes to Caitlyn Clark. While others tiptoe around egos and cling to outdated narratives, Stephen has been calling it like it is from the moment Clark stepped onto a WNBA court, bringing with her a wave of attention, ticket sales, and viewership the league had never seen before. He's been her loudest supporter. And why? Because unlike the jealous murmurs from some ex-players who act like Clark's success is a personal slight, Stephen actually recognizes value when he sees it. There's real resentment out there, he said, and boy, has that become obvious.
Look, I think Stephen A is 100% correct on this. At the end of the day, you already see people actually saying, hey, I'm not watching for 2 weeks. I'm not tuning in for 2 weeks. And it's really bad news for the Mystics and the Sky, because both of those teams moved those games to big arenas. So it's like, now that she's not playing, what is that attendance going to look like? The viewership, right? The viewership is going to plummet. I already know, because the majority of the people that's watching the Indiana Fever wants to see Caitlyn Clark. And sad to say it, a lot of them only want to see Caitlyn Clark. They don't really care about the entire team.
Now the prophecy is unfolding right before our eyes. Clark isn't just missing some throwaway Tuesday night game against a team nobody remembers. She's sitting out marquee matchups, the kind of games ESPN salivates over. Her highly anticipated rematch with Angel Reese? Gone. Multiple primetime national broadcasts? Kaput. The financial hit is immediate and brutal. This isn't just Indiana missing a star player, it's the WNBA losing its entire gravitational pull. Clark isn't just putting up points. She's the main reason people show up to the arena, turn on their TVs, and buy those overpriced jerseys. Take her out of the equation, and suddenly the Indiana Fever look like every other team, desperately trying to stay relevant.
Everybody was moving Caitlyn Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlyn Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep.
All
the tickets are literally half the price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that have not sold any tickets.
But what's got Stephen fuming? What's really got him cooking is that this was completely avoidable. Injuries happen in sports, sure. But when a league lets its most valuable player get slammed, hacked, elbowed, and borderline assaulted every night with zero consequences, that's not an accident. That's negligence. The hits Clark's taken this season wouldn't look out of place in an NFL highlight reel. And yet, the WNBA's response? Shrug it off, say it's part of the game. Meanwhile, Stephen's probably breaking a remote at home, screaming, "Protect her!" And who could blame him? He's watching the one player keeping the league afloat get treated like just another newcomer instead of the generational star she is. It's not just disappointing. it's malpractice.
2.2 million average viewers
Tuned in to watch Caitlyn Clark Indiana Fever take on the Liberty.
Peaking at 3.2 million viewers is crazy for the WNBA, even for the Fever.
Became the 6th most watched WNBA regular season or playoff game.
And here's the thing, the numbers back it all up. Even in a recent loss to the Liberty, yes, a loss, Clark still managed to draw 2.22 million viewers on CBS. That's the second highest WNBA rating ever on the network. That kind of pull during a regular season game? Unheard of. But without her, those numbers are going to drop like a rock. Picture the marketing execs trying to pitch ad space now. Well, we had 2 million viewers, but our star's sidelined. Sponsors are watching, networks are watching, everyone knows what's coming. And so does Stephen A., who's already loaded up the receipts for the inevitable ratings collapse. And oh, you know he's going to remind the WNBA every step of the way.
She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard when it was really all said and done. We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm. And they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had.
But what makes this sting even more is that it didn't have to be this way. If the league had just acknowledged what was clear from day one, that Clark is the engine driving this whole operation, things could have been different. Instead, they downplayed her rise, acted like her success was some fluke or, worse, something to be embarrassed about. All the while, Clark was packing arenas, boosting ratings, and changing the perception of women's basketball overnight. And now that she's out, all the people who scoffed at her impact are about to learn the hard way just how wrong they were.
Higher television ratings, higher attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But you didn't do it.
Clark wasn't just good for the league. She was revolutionizing it. People who never gave the WNBA a second glance were suddenly tuning in. Entire families planned summer vacations around Fever games. But with her sidelined, those same fans are already checking out. Steven gets it. He sees what's really at stake here. This isn't about a twisted ankle or a pulled muscle. It's about whether the league is smart enough to recognize and nurture a once-in-a-generation star before it's too late. Steven knows what the WNBA leadership refuses to admit. That Clark is the linchpin between the league's struggling past and its potentially explosive future. Without her, they're right back to begging networks for airtime and hoping someone shows up to the games. Clark's not just a player. She's a walking marketing campaign, a highlight reel, a franchise in sneakers. And now she's out, and the bridge she built between women's basketball and the mainstream is temporarily closed for repairs. That's not just a setback, it's a full-blown crisis.
You literally cannot make this up. When she's not playing, ticket prices, merchandise sales plummet. Viewership declines when she is not suited up in uniform. The numbers do not lie, guys. Caitlyn Clark is the biggest box office attraction in the WNBA, period. Facts over feeling.
And let's be real, this all could have been prevented. With the way she's been targeted, cheap shots, flagrant fouls, borderline assaults, you'd think the league would have stepped in to protect its biggest asset. But no, they let her take beating after beating while hiding behind vague statements and toothless penalties. And now, Stephen A. is here, bullhorn in hand, shouting, "I told you so." While the league scrambles to do damage control, Clark's fan base is furious. Many are already pledging to boycott games until she returns. Social media is flooded with posts from fans saying they're not watching another second of WNBA basketball until Clark's back on the court. And who can blame them? If you started watching because of Caitlyn Clark, why would you stick around when she's not there? Watching a WNBA game without Clark is like ordering pizza and getting handed a salad. The excitement is gone, the flavor's gone. The thing that made it special isn't there anymore.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlyn Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners This is last year. This is last season. Because this is Caitlyn Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included the Indiana Fever?
So now, Stephen A. Smith, the only one with the guts to say what everyone else is thinking, is waiting for the next batch of ratings to roll in. And when they tank, because of course they will, he'll be ready with the numbers, the commentary, and the sass to remind the league that this mess is one they created. Because when you ignore your biggest star, let her take hits like a crash test dummy, and act like everything's fine, the fallout is on you. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle. Caitlyn Clark was that lightning. And now that she's sidelined, the storm's rolling in. The next few weeks won't just prove Stephen A. right, they'll define what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. One that protects and uplifts its stars, or one that watches them walk away, while they still have a chance to save the game. If you agree with Stephen A., comment baby goat over baby giraffe down below, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we'll see you in the next one.